Um, First of all, then, 100th appearance in Test match rugby. What's that mean to you? And can you remember your debut back against Canada?
Yeah, it was a long time ago now, Nick. I think it's 14 years ago or 13 and a half years ago. So a long time to be around. But I suppose, just a massive amount of, I suppose, pride is a huge one, but also a little bit of indication that we've had to endure some highs and lows along the way, and really glad to have been able to stick it out and keep a career going for quite a while, along with obviously Foxy, who's making the same on the weekend as well. But the debut was good. 2008 autumn, I think it was. I came off the bench for Hookie. I think Hookie went down after about 15-20 minutes, so didn't have a huge amount of time to be that nervous and let the nerves build up on the bench, sort of thrown straight into it. And then I think I threw an intercept at the last play of the game for Canada. So hoping I'm not throwing too many of them on Saturday, tomorrow afternoon.
I don't remember that one too much. And looking back, Jonathan Davis, as you say, reaches the same milestone and part of the same junior side in the 2008 Junior World Cup, which was quite a golden generation, wasn't it? With Lee Halfpenny, Rhys Webb, Justin Tipuric, and Sam Warburton also coming through.
Yeah, we did really well in terms of the team and the boys coming through there. We've got a few caps between us all now, and I'm thrilled for John, because John's one of the best pros you could probably come across in the game in terms of the way he looks after himself, the way he conducts himself on and off the field. He's as good a bloke as you can come across. So I'm really, really pleased for John, especially with having to perhaps wait a little bit longer than he would have liked. And there's no doubt if he'd have stayed fit as well, he'd have probably clocked that up a while ago with some serious injuries. So yeah, really, really pleased for John, and he deserves everything this weekend.
You mentioned your pleasure in sticking around. I mean, the Welsh fly half shirt, I guess, is one of the most focused on in the nation. Did you get any words from the likes of Neil Jenkins and Stephen Jones, who, of course, have been through those ups and downs themselves?
I think they're just encouragement, really, because they, like I said, they know that it's they know what comes with the shirt and the territory of playing number 10 for Wales. So. Yeah, I think probably as well. A few of the lads actually have mentioned that it's a good achievement to stick about for as long as I have, especially being in the number 10 jersey. Really, where there's someone better than you every other week, or there's a new kid on the block. It seems to be every season sort of thing. So I think that, yeah, I suppose just words of encouragement really, because they've been through it all as well in their time. That they sort of said there was always somebody else and there was always somebody new on the block, but they managed to stick it out for a period as well, and I'm grateful that I've been able to follow in their footsteps, really.
What would be your best moment so far in a Wales jersey?
We're just talking, actually, me, Jinx and Callum Sheedy, we just finished kicking up at the stadium, and we were speaking, and Callum was asking, because obviously he hasn't played with the roof shut at the stadium yet. And he said, is it different with the roof shut? And me and Neil were saying about the 30 points to 3 game that we beat England for the championship back in 2013. I think that would be right up there. I've never experienced a stadium, let alone the Principality, like that on a match day where England were coming to town for the Grand Slam, and I think we had to win by 8. I think it was in the end to get a championship, and the stadium was just electric. And we played obviously, very few of us had a poor game that day, so that would probably be the best moment I've had, and the most, and I think as well, obviously when you lift the trophy at the end of it, which I think people forget as well. I know we've taken a fair bit of flack this week, and rightly so, because we didn't play well on Saturday against Ireland, but I think people forget that we've been pretty successful in this tournament for a number of years, certainly a lot more successful than other teams, and we've taken obviously a little bit of flack this week, and we're hoping that we can put it right on Saturday.
You mentioned new kids, but for yourself, you've got a new experience as well in terms of leading Wales out at home. How are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, again, be full of pride, and excitement, really. I suppose it's it's every boy's dream to play for Wales and to be able to lead the lads out at home in a massive Six Nations game would be massive. I've got the family there, all the family are coming and things, so just really exciting, really. And I think, even though I said yesterday, I did a BBC interview yesterday, and my little boy's come in, but I think he'll probably be on the iPad watching Paw Patrol rather than much else. So I'd imagine sort of Wales, Scotland, and his dad leading out Wales will come second to him, I'd imagine.
And as you say, you've seen a lot in those 14 years, but in terms of reversing a poor performance from the previous week, is there anything much you can build on from past experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, between 2012, when we won the Grand Slam, and 2013, we didn't win a game for Wales in that year. So, it's all doom and gloom. And 2014, we were no doubt we were second best on Saturday against Ireland, but we were lucky to come second in 2014 when we played Ireland, and then we reversed it. I think we had France the following week, or the next game at the stadium, and we put a good performance in and got the result. So history tells us that when we have a poor performance, we tend to respond quite well. Now it's we're under no illusions and we're not papering over anything. I think it's easier when you've got experience in these moments where that you've had a disappointing result and performance, but that there's the ability in yourself and the team to hit back in a positive manner. And I think that's what we've referenced, and that's what we said on Monday morning when we came in. We know it's, like I said, you can't paper over the cracks. We didn't play well. We played against a very, very good side, but there's no way that we showed our best or put our best foot forward. So I suppose the experience, and it is, we've been in this position, but there's nothing new to us in terms of responding to a tough performance. And I know what it's like, Nick. Every time this time of year, all the experts come out, don't they? In terms of sort of fans, media, ex-players, all the experts come out and have got all the answers. So for us, it's about making sure that we keep everything in house and make sure we respond in the best way possible, and that's by fronting up on Saturday against a team which are going to be full of confidence and playing some really good rugby.
Yeah, Stuart Hoggs referenced the away wins last year that Scotland had, but said it would be completely different playing in front of a crowd, even though he's playing it down. Do you think this Scotland team come with higher hopes than most in those last 20 years since they won in Cardiff?
Yeah, absolutely. They've come off the back of a good win last week against England and playing some good rugby. They've got some players in form, and it'll be interesting to see how the game pans out tomorrow. We're obviously looking for a reaction, so we're obviously hoping to try and stifle that sort of momentum that they've built up and confidence that they've built up. But their team looks strong on paper, and they've got individuals in that team that can cause sort of any team in international rugby problems. So there's no doubt that we're aware of the threat that they possess. But like I said, we've been successful in this tournament before, and we're hoping that the experience that we can use from those experiences of disappointment and bouncing back and winning and bits and pieces like that will stand us in good stead to try and neutralise that on tomorrow afternoon.
Thanks, Dan, for your time. Good luck.
Pleasure, Nick. Thank you.
Okay, Matt, come to you next, then Julian.
Dan, just a quick couple. Is it fair to say that you are somebody who takes the success or otherwise of this Wales team personally?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've been involved in it for so long, and I know what you get when you get success and you win trophies and you're successful in this tournament. And I also know the flip side of it. I know that when you don't play well in this jersey, or when you come second best, as we did last weekend, that there's going to be heat on it. And there's been a full inquest into Welsh rugby, I think, this week, in terms of from what people have been saying and things. But for us, it is very much, I know it sounds a little bit sort of cliche, but it is very similar to us, because we've been in these situations so many times. I think people forget, Matt, when when we've had so much success in this tournament over the last decade that people just think everything's been rosy. But you look at, in 2017 we finished 5th. In, like I said, between 2012 and 2013 we didn't win a game as a team. We got absolutely, we'll probably beat worse in 2014 in Dublin than we did last Saturday. So I think people forget that everyone just thinks that Wales have been, every week and every Six Nations has been successful. So we're aware that when we don't play well, you have to take a bit of flack, and I think that's absolutely fine, because we're grown men at the end of the day, Matt, and we have to accept that if you don't play well, you're going to take a bit of flack, and when you do, you'll probably get some praise. So that's how it goes, and there's no better way for us to respond to the criticism and the heat that perhaps that's been on us this week is by coming out firing on Saturday and putting in a performance which hopefully gets a result.
Just as a fly half, just explain how frustrating it can be when perhaps you're not able to implement your game plan as much as you would have liked, which I guess is perhaps what you felt last week.
Yeah, it was frustrating because, like we mentioned, we gave up a lot of field position through discipline, and then to compound that, we didn't really get any collisions. We didn't win many collisions in that first half. It's for the whole game really, but in particular in that first half, it just felt like we were absorbing what Ireland were throwing at us. So for us, it was really frustrating that we couldn't put what we wanted to on the field because we didn't win enough collisions, and we were defending, and we didn't have a huge amount of territory. So it is frustrating, but we looked at the video. I think it's when you win and you play well, it's never as good as it felt, and when you watch the video back, it's never as bad as it seems either, because we created one or two chances on Saturday which we didn't quite take, and we have to get better at that. But I think it certainly wasn't that we did not create some opportunities or ID where the space was. We just weren't accurate enough and win collisions. So it was frustrating for us not to get that on the park, and frustrating from, I suppose, a 10 or a half-back point of view, that it felt like all we were doing was trying to relieve a little bit of pressure as opposed to really going after Ireland. So hopefully that, like I said, there's no better way for us to respond this week by putting our game on the pitch against Scotland and asking them a lot of questions, which we didn't do last week.
And just lastly from me, it's very easy to sort of, say that you're going to block out the critics, you're going to forget last week's performance and concentrate on Scotland. But in practice, how difficult is it to not bring in some of those outside elements and use them as motivation? How difficult is it to just park it all and move on?
Well, I think the biggest, we spoke in the huddle at the end of team run today, and we just said that sort of last week we've got to use that. We've got to take that frustration out this weekend, and whoever, it doesn't matter that it's Scotland, it's whoever we were playing this weekend, we have to take the frustrations of last week out on this Saturday, and it just happens to be Scotland. So we're hoping that the frustrations and the disappointments and the lack of sort of energy in our performance last week, we hope that that's flipped on its head, and we've got tons of all those things on Saturday. And I think for me, Matt, it's really easy to block out the outside stuff, because we know that you get experience with it, that that you're going to take flack if you don't play well. It'll be the same this week. If we don't play well and we don't get a result, then I'm sure that there'll be some critics and probably a fair bit more. But conversely, if we front up, play well and get a result, then you'd like to think you'd get some credit as well. So it's just making sure that we do our bit and make sure we're back in this title then.
Congratulations on the milestone, Dan, and
thanks,
good
Matt.
luck on the weekend.
Cheers, Matt. Thank you.
And then finally, Julian.
Yeah, afternoon. I just wondered what you'd made of Scotland in general and Finn Russell's form in particular.
Yeah, Scotland have had some good results, haven't they? In terms of the last few results that they've played, they had a decent autumn, and they're playing with confidence. They've got Finn is a player who I think perhaps gets sort of tagged as this sort of rogue player and can just spark something out of nothing, which is true. But I think he's added, I think over the last couple of years, he's added a real sort of game management and control to his game as well as all the flicks and tricks. So we know that they're coming in good form, and but there's a bit of pressure on them as well now this week that they've been talked up, and they've got to go and try and win a championship from their point of view, from what I'm hearing. So let's see how they go on in the tournament, and we'll judge them at the end of it. But they're going to come here confident, and they're in really good form, and they're coached well, and they've got some X factor players. And like I said, Finn is a player who perhaps has been sort of earmarked as a bit of a flair player and does all the flicks and tricks. But I think over the last couple of years, he's definitely his kicking game's grown definitely into a he's a world class operator, and they've got a few of them in the team. So it'll be interesting to see how they come and how they play, because we know that they're going to want to throw the ball about and try and score some tries in that way. But like I said, it's about we're focused on putting our best foot forward again, which we didn't do last week.
Thank you.